Chapter 8 covers consumer mathematics, which involves percents and interest problems, taxes, credit cards, mortgages, borrowing money for a car, and inflation with the consumer price index. So this whole chapter, big time fun. But in section 8.1, we're going to look at percents, taxes, and inflation. So moving right along, the word percent comes from the Latin word meaning the Latin word percentum, which means per 100. And like most tests, they come out of 100 points or 100%. So if somebody says, hey, I got 17% of something, they're really saying they have 17 out of 100. Now, 17% can be written as a fraction, 17 over 100, or in decimal form, 0.17. So if they ask you to write it in percent form or change it from percent form to fraction or to a decimal, you have to remember that once you change it, to drop the percent sign. So for example, write each of the following percents in decimal form. So 36% really means 36 out of 100. And then you can convert that to 0.36. Because the 36, the 6 should be in the hundredths position since it's 36 over 100. And the hundredths position is 2 places to the right of the decimal point. Now in part B, it says write each of the following percents in decimal form, and you might be looking at this and saying, but April, it's already in decimal form. True, it's 19.32, but because of the percent sign, it's actually in percent form. So to change it into its full-on decimal position or decimal mode, whatever you want to call it, you would have to take the 19.32 and divide it by 100. And that's going to convert it to 0.1932. Because all percentages come out of 100. So the quickest way to change a percent to a decimal is just divide it by 100. Now, when you're dividing by 100, the shortcut is the decimal gets moved 2 places to the left. So on this 36, let me see, grab a pen here. On the 36, the decimal point technically was right here, but it ends right here. That's because when you divide by 100, it gets moved 2 places to the left. Same thing here. It's going to move from here, 1, 2, to there. And of course, you could go in reverse. They might say, okay, here, take each one of these decimal numbers and put them in percent form. So if you have 0.29 of something, you're simply going to do the reverse. Instead of dividing by 100, you'll multiply by 100. Since we are going backwards, simply multiply the decimal by 100, which moves the decimal to the right 2 places. And then don't forget to add a percent sign. So if you have 100% of something, you have one whole. You have the whole thing. So when I have 0.29 of it, I've got 29% of it. If I have 0.354 of it, I have 35.4%. So you just multiply by 100, which moves the decimal 2 places to the right. And then you have to remember to add the percent sign because they said, please write it in percent form. Now, what if you're given a fraction? Okay. Well, if you're given a fraction, the easiest way is to change it from fraction form to decimal form. So we're going to do that first. Convert the 3/8 to a decimal and then multiply by 100 to convert the decimal into percent form. On your calculator, I would simply take the numerator, which is 3, and divide it by the denominator, which is 8, and then hit your equal button or your enter button, whatever kind of calculator you're using, but you should be using our button, which has an enter on it. And then that's going to give you the 0.375. So hit the number 3 on your calculator, hit the division sign button, and then hit the number 8, and then hit your equal sign, and then this is what you should see. And that's what you've got right here. That converts it from a fraction to a decimal. And then to convert it into a percent form, you would then multiply by 100, which will move the decimal point from here, 2 places to the right, to there, and then don't forget to add the percent sign. And of course, we can apply this to word problems. In 1970, the U.S. government spent $82 billion for defense at a time when the federal budget was $196 billion. In 2007, spending for defense was $495 billion, and the budget was $2,472 billion. What percent of the federal budget was spent for defense in 1970 and in 2007? So you're being asked, what part of the whole do you have? It was $82 billion out of $196 billion. So all you have to do is take the 82 and divide it by 196. Don't worry about all the zeros, because all the zeros would cancel out. And for billions, you'd have to have 9 zeros, but that's not going to work in your calculator anyway. That'll fill up your whole screen and it'll give you some error kind of message, but the billions just cancel out. And then that's going to give you approximately, looks like they took it out 3 places, so 0.418, but then don't forget, you're going to multiply by 100, and that's going to move your decimal 2 places to the right. So it'll land between the 1 and the 8. And then don't forget your percent sign. So in 1970, 41.8% of our federal budget was spent on defense. Now, fast forward to the year 2007. Now, in 2007, defense, they spent $495 billion out of this total. So take 495 and divide it by 2472. Remember, you're going to type the 495 into your calculator, then hit the division sign, and then hit the denominator. It's always numerator divided by denominator. And then that's going to give you approximately this number. And then if you multiply it by 100, remember the decimal point here is going to move 2 places to the right and land right here in between those 2 zeros. And then don't forget the percent sign. And when I look at this, I'm like, gee, in 1970, they were spending 41.8, almost half our budget on defense. Why? Vietnam War. That's why. In 2007, there was no war going on, so we weren't spending as much on defense. So there you go. No big wars anyway. And I'm going to stop there and pick it up with another video.